Is it just coming out this week, or has it been out, Rhino?
It's number one in the box office right now.
Okay, Tanya.
Oh, I have a cheat sheet.
I love you. Give great tips, Rhino, for Movie Fridays with Tanya here on Good Things. So, what is it, Tanya?
If.
Dalco wants to see that one, so we may end up actually seeing that one with the kids. So it's doing well?
Yeah, it came in number one. It brought in $33 million last weekend, so that's not shabby.
That's not shabby. And I mean, you always wonder, because it does feel like it's leaning more towards the family side, but it's not. Doesn't feel like it's like Pixar little kid, but yet maybe kid, you're not really sure. So you just wonder how those things are going to actually come out and do. So.
Yeah, especially, I mean, because it is the mix, you've got live action and animation. So, those are hit or miss. But to me, the draw is that John Krasinski's involved. I'm just such a huge fan of his.
And you saw this one, right?
I have not seen it yet.
But you said that we were being advised to take tissues. I hear it.
Yes.
Got you. Yeah.
I think it's one of those that's going to make you
reminisce
and, maybe reflect upon how fast childhood goes by.
Stop. But graduation time and all that. I don't need any, I have 0 kids graduating, but I look at all y'all's kids graduating on the social feeds, and I'm like, it's coming so fast.
I know. It's crazy. Mine graduated a year ago. I mean, like this past weekend was our big weekend, and it's like, I cannot believe it's been a year.
Yeah.
So it all goes by way too fast.
All right. So we got more coming up this week, though, as well.
So this weekend we've got another offering for the family, the Garfield movie. This edition is voiced by Chris Pratt, who is no stranger to offering his voice to great animated movies. And in this one, Garfield and his buddy Odie have to join forces with Garfield's estranged father, who happens to come back in the picture, and join him on reluctantly on a high stakes mission. So I guess he's gonna have to give up the lasagna.
I was just thinking
for just a minute.
he comes across as so lazy and not worried about other people's problems. That will be funny to see.
Yeah, and it's just a huge cast of voices. Samuel L. Jackson is his dad. Hannah Waddingham, Bowen Yang, Snoop Dogg, Brett Goldstein, Ving Rhames, Cicely Strong. So just tons of people. And it is PG, so, I think most of the animated movies now are. And it's an hour and 40 minutes, so.
And that's really good for the littles.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Garfield's movie prior to this one? It's been a minute?
It has been a little while. I think that it seems like there may have even been more than one, and they were voiced by Bill Murray, if I remember correctly.
It feels like, I'm sure, and this would be a question for Rhino, is he still in the comics? Are they still writing Garfield, sort of, I guess, it wasn't even, maybe not comics, but I remember, the Sunday, that's where you first sort of found him. I just feel like he's been, in the shadows for a while. It's just not strange, but it's interesting they've decided to make a movie.
Yeah, and, I don't think that Peanuts have ever, they've never gone away, but I feel like they've had a resurgence in the last few years, where you see Snoopy at a whole aisle is dedicated to Peanuts merchandise at the Hallmark shop, and of course he's got his new animated series and things on Apple TV. So maybe now it's Garfield's turn.
Because I think my oldest probably just at least knows who Garfield is. But my little wouldn't. I don't think she would even recognize who he is. Rhino says Garfield's still going, but isn't made by the original author anymore. So they sort of switched that, but it's still out there. But hey, it'll see if it connects with folks, if people enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Who wouldn't love Garfield?
I think we got a little Garfield. Everybody's got a little Garfield in them.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you don't like lasagna.
Yeah. But I think the one that's going to come out on top this weekend is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. And this is the 5th movie in the Mad Max franchise. And it's sort of a prequel and a spinoff at the same time. The last time we saw Mad Max was Fury Road almost 10 years ago, back in 2015. And this story focuses on Furiosa, who is the character that Charlize Theron played in the other Mad Max movies. This is her. They've cast a younger actress, Anya Taylor-Joy, who is very recognizable. She's a huge star now. And it's her origin story, how she was kidnapped as a child and the way she was taken and how that results in, her desire for vengeance or survival. And anyway, so, and Chris Hemsworth is also in it. He's plays the guy. He's like the leader of the group that kidnaps her. So anyway, lots of action. Future,
Would
world.
you need to see the first ones to get this one?
I don't think so. I really don't. In fact, you might want to see this one and then see the others because you'll get to see this character in the future.
That is right up my alley in Rhino.
Well, that's the
Seeing
beauty
things
of
backwards.
the Mad Max movies are like they're a glimpse into the world of a folk hero from Australia, because that's where these movies started from, was in Australia. And the guy that's in charge of the world building has come out multiple times and said, I don't write any of these stories with a lore through line or a universe, or this is not a cinematic universe like Marvel. It's just telling wild and crazy stories involving Max and the people in his life and the surroundings. So you can just jump in whenever you want to and jump off whenever you want to.
Huh. I don't know if I've ever seen one. I think I remember Charlize in it, but I was always a fan of hers, but I don't know if I saw it all the way through.
Yeah. Well, and I thought it was interesting they decided to recast her. Originally, she was going to play this role. They were just going to use some digital special effects to de-age her a little bit, but I'm like, is that even necessary? Because to me, she looks just as young as this actress. But, I'm old enough to remember when Mel Gibson was Mad Max. Was in those movies. And so I did see those years ago.
Who runs Bartertown?
Yeah. So I think this is going to be the one to see. Now, I will warn you, it's rated R because of the action, for the most part, but it's 2.5 hours. So it's a long one. Yeah, a long one. And then the final one this weekend is called Sight, and it's about, it's a biographical drama about a doctor, a young girl who is a Chinese immigrant to the U.S., and she's blind, and she goes to a very famous eye surgeon, or famous in that world, eye surgeon, to try to have her sight restored. And it's based on a true story, and Greg Kinnear is in it, and he always makes great choices in movies, even though lately he seems to be doing a lot of things that not everybody goes out and sees. So just the fact that he's chosen this, I think, is worth checking it out.
Have you seen, are you going to see any of them?
Yes, I will see this one for sure. Just the previews alone just have me really excited about it. I think it's going to be one of those that you walk out of feeling really great.
Someone mentioned Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse movie, was great.
Oh, yeah. It's gotten really mixed reviews. People, are saying that it kind of skims the surface on a few areas of her life. But I think I hear that about almost every.
No, you can't please everybody.
Every biopic lately, they're.
It's only 2 hours. If they live longer than 5 minutes, then it's going to be hard to get every layer of a human being.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm glad she's getting that attention, because it was funny last week. I was talking to my teenage boys about it. They're like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Oh, y'all need to know who she was, because she's such a good singer."
And she never had children or anything. Like, there's no heir to.
Not that I'm aware of. I know that was her desire to have children.
It's probably a good thing she didn't at this particular time. But okay, so you just wonder who is she survived by?
Yeah, I think, I know her dad was very present in her life, and I'm not sure if he's still around, or she was so young, I would assume he's still pretty young,
Yeah. Anything streaming? Anything else?
We've actually got a week from today, so I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit, but I'm really excited about it. A documentary about Jim Henson. directed by Ron Howard. And, Ron doesn't do junk. And, of course, Jim Henson is such a great person to do a documentary about. So it is going to debut on Disney Plus a week from today.
Oh, that's
so and they may, because of all the time zones, you might actually get to see it on Thursday night. It just depends. So that's definitely something to check out.
I'll definitely watch that. All right, Tanya, thank you so much. You guys stick with us. We got more for you up next.